And I was just about to say how we weren't lagging on source, but looks like that is not the case.
해설을 맡은 이영환이라고 합니다.
Lowered it down to high quality on Africa TV. Hopefully that should work pretty nicely.
웃는 표정이 정치인 같아요.
Just a tad for right now. We got Shine today on the cast. This is gonna be fun. Looking forward to seeing Shine do some casting.
그렇죠.
I'm wondering, should I put my face up in between these chats, or maybe just put it on the corner? Let me know in the chat what you guys think. I haven't quite put together a full. Oh, actually, you know what? I have an idea. You guys ready for this?
썩 그
Well, hold on. Actually, I need to do one thing real quick.
슬림한 대포권 느낌 나라고요.
No, I don't have time to do it.
그좀 워낙에 얘기를 너무 많이 하다
I'll
보니까
do it next time for the next cast. I'll put my face
제가 이때까지
just
스타팅을 하면서 제일
all over where their
피드백을
faces
많이
are,
받았던
and then I'll
부분이
just kind of
옵저버를 너무 못한다.
cut out the
그래서 제가
banner and put it
옵저버
down
전문가를
below.
모셨어요.
So
오늘
put
저한테
my face on here as
옵저버가
well.
뭔지 옵저버는 이렇게 하는 거다라고
But either way is
그냥
good.
좀 보여주셨으면 좋겠어요.
We got some good matches today. Team sSak versus Team Mong. If you guys remember correctly,
이해를 하긴 합니다.
uh,
왜냐면 해설가가
Team
좁저빙을 해야 되기 때문에
Team Mong, first of all, just like straight up, Mong went like god tier TVP mode, and Team Best just kept sending Protoss after Protoss after Protoss.
방송 오늘 저 혼자 할게요.
They managed to finally take him down with
아닙니다.
Hyuk, but
옆에서 말 한마디
it was pretty brutal. They got really far down by that point, and it was hard to actually come back. Team sSak probably had the closest match out of all of them, Team sSak versus Team Flash. That was on the 21st. That was last Thursday, I believe. And that was very, very close, and it really came down to the wire in that last game with Flash versus Free, where Flash attempted a particular timing and it didn't work out. Free managed to hold it off, and from that point on, it was just Flash continuing to drill one base and he wasn't able to break it, unfortunately. So, just lower this down just a little bit more, because I don't know if it's loud for you guys, but I'm having trouble talking over them at the moment. I'm pretty tired this morning. I didn't sleep, so I'm relying entirely on coffee to get me through this cast. Hopefully, I'm like really hoping the games aren't very long, because I'm about to like fall asleep on my keyboard, but you know, that's the price you pay for following Brood War, for casting Brood War when you live in the US. It's probably a lot easier if you live in the EU, because EU is like, it's like 6 hours ahead of here, so it's like the middle of noon now for most European countries. Easy peasy. That's the life.
경기 오프닝 후에 바로 가도록 하겠습니다.
Alright, looks like we're going to be going straight into the first game. Alright, let's get into it.
자, 경기 시작합니다.
Yeah, I got my face up here today. We're good. Everything's solid.
윤찬이 대 이경민.
Everything's solid.
굉장히 기대되는 플레이 알겠습니까? 사실 이때까지 기회자 팀매트리 총 4경기가 있었는데 첫
interesting.
경기 승리한 팀이 전승을 했습니다. 그래서
Okay, heading into game one, we're gonna have Mong versus his first opponent. Looks like that is going to be. I really need to memorize all these players' names so I know who's playing which. This is Harang 2.
자, 이상 긴말은 자제해 주시고요.
I guess Rong 2 is pretty straightforward, or Harangi as we found out in last cast. I think they just said it to you. So, in the bottom right hand corner in the purple, that is going to be Mong. And on the other side of the map, on the left side in the green, that's going to be our hero in the Protoss player. That is going to be Harangi. So, TVP, first of all, let me check the map. I'm like not prepared today, obviously. Super tired. Okay, so first map is Neo Aztec. So Neo Aztec, that funky 3-player map. Lots of interesting different ways that you can play this map, and it definitely sets up some interesting pushes coming out from the Terran player early on. 3-player maps are always really interesting for Terran players just because you can set up some weird pushes that are very difficult to actually hold off on things. Yes, the Protoss player is Harang 2, also known as Harangi, because 2 is E in Korean. So, unfortunately, Harangi is getting in the wrong direction to start off with. I think that might actually have been a 10-10. me out
그런데 현재
from
빌드는 몽구는
Mong. No, I guess the factory is a little bit late, so it's probably a bit more of a normal factory time. We'll have to see. The big giveaway is if you go for the 10-10, you definitely go for more Marines early on
그렇죠. 이 선수는
to do a
건축가거든요.
big push
공인
while
모든
fake
사람들이
expanding
인정하는
behind
진짜
it.
아름다운 건축가입니다.
But I think that we'll find out once we see how many Marines come out. Usually it's 1 or 2, and then the Marines stop. But if it goes higher than that, then we definitely know there's some pressure on the way for the Terran player. Mong definitely no stranger to
자,
aggressive
이 와중에
builds.
또 후원해주신
One of the things we also
친구의
talked about on this map the other day, I believe it was Flash playing on this map as well, is it's hell to actually break out of your base with these inverted ramps. So if your opponent can gain control of the high ground area in this natural, it becomes almost impossible to break out of your base. And that's why we typically see more aggressive builds on this map. Players just trying to take map control and keep their opponent from easily taking that expansion or playing too greedily. Because if you play too greedy, you can really find yourself in a bad position. So first 2 Marines are out. We'll have to see. There's the 3rd Marine. He goes up to 4 or 5. That's definitely a warning sign for huge pressure. Yeah, I can lower the Korean audio just a, well, actually, I don't think I even lower the Korean. They're louder than normal today. I swear to God, they're not normally this loud. I hope the levels are good now. I'll go ahead and lower it in OBS as well. Sorry about that. This is literally the same settings that I used for last week, but it's weird that it's not working totally correctly this week. 4 Marines into a little bit more of a passive build for Mong, so a little bit unorthodox, but that's what I'm talking about on this map is players tend to go a little bit more aggressive than they need to. 4 Marines is definitely much more than you would typically get for just a generally safe expand build. But it makes sure that, like, if a Zealot is coming across the map, if you have like Zealot Dragoon pressure early on, that you can deal with that a lot better than you could with just 1 or 2 Marines and having to retreat all the way to the low ground and hide them between your barracks. So smart play for Mong, just being a little bit overly defensive to make sure that you can get that natural out. And to some degree, I think Hurong took advantage of that. Hurong has already got a faster Nexus 1 gateway up. He wasn't afraid to expand off of only 1 Nexus. Doesn't get the block on the SCV. Oh, maybe he might get the block on the SCV anyway. Yeah, that was beautiful. Very beautiful micro there from Hurong stopping that SCV, and he's going to be able to pick that off. But Mong still has pretty good information. He knows his opponent has gone for an expansion, so there's no sort of all-in or anything coming his way. You know what? Ooh, what he canceled? Was that a starport that he canceled? Or was that a second factory? Pretty interesting to find out what that was. I wasn't quite paying attention. And the question here becomes, how are the players going to take their 3rd base? This is Mong versus Hurong 2, also known as Huronggi. So, as a Protoss player, you typically, on this map, you can play a lot safer and just wait for the big gateway explosion once you get your 3rd base. But the problem is, you definitely have to beware of a timing attack by Terran, because if Terran manages to get across the map early on and sets up shop around that area just above the natural, it becomes much more difficult to actually break out of the base and take the 3rd that you want as the Protoss player. But it is way out of position, and it does open up the Terran to counterattacks. So there's definitely drawbacks to strategies on this map. That's why 3-player maps are always very interesting, is whenever you want to, because it's asymmetrical, whenever you want to try to push your opponent down or take control of one part of the map, you're always giving up map control somewhere else, versus a asymmetrical map, which kind of allows you to just kind of patrol units back and forth, if you know what I mean. So I think we're just seeing a pretty standard play from Hurong. Just a couple of these vultures out on the map to scout out and see what things are going on. Oh, Did he catch the Stargate? This might actually be two-base carrier. If he caught the Stargate, then I don't think that Harangi can go two-base carrier. But it really just depends. I think that was within scan range. But Mong is putting down a command center anyway. He's not going to go for a push. Or at least maybe not a very dedicated push. We'll see. There's a fleet beacon in the second Stargate. So we are going to be seeing two-base carrier. Very interesting choice from Harangi. Looks like he's going to be kind of drilling down that corridor down by the bottom left-hand side and harassing that third base. But a little bit interesting for Mong to expand in this way, but I think it actually makes a lot of sense because it makes his frontal pushes a lot stronger. Like I was saying earlier, you always have to deal with the problem of every time you move out on the map, you give up position elsewhere on a three-player map. But this is really nice because it's almost a straight shot into his opponent's base, and his units that are going forward protect both his third and his natural. But he will have trouble with carriers if they do manage to get out en masse. Love these strategically placed mines around that. They're not necessarily there for picking off units or anything like that. It's just purely for scouting purposes, so that Mong has a good idea of where his opponent is, where the Dragoons are moving around, etc. So, really cool way of playing that. Very different from the normal mining style where you just kind of pile mines all over the Protoss natural and force them to wait for observers to break out. By the way, side note, this is so much easier casting without having to observe myself. Because I literally just have both hands free to like talk and like drink coffee and like, you know, do wild gestures and things like that. So I love this. This is so much better than doing the Fat versus AJ the other day. Small push coming up here to the front, but there's definitely enough tanks to push that back for now. And honestly, I think Mong was a little bit greedy on his unit count. He really doesn't have a whole lot, and it's going to be a while before he can ramp up the tank count and really push down his opponent. And meanwhile, two-base carrier plus this third base is already established. It's at this point I would place Harangi pretty far ahead. If Mong doesn't go for some sort of timing push soon, he's definitely going to find himself in a world of hurt and unable to deal with these carriers. This is one of those things where, as a Terran player, you should almost be scanning on cooldown to make sure you know what your opponent is doing. But Mong has just been playing it safe and not really worrying too much about finding out his opponent's tech. Oh, okay. He's getting the observer. I didn't see the observer on the screen there for a second. Are you guys hearing that like random white noise? I'm pretty sure that's not me. I'm pretty sure that's the Genuda stream. So if it makes that noise, I apologize. I can't do anything about it. So first two carriers coming out right now. This is very odd. Usually you wait for 4 carriers to go for this build, but maybe Harangi feeling under pressure or overconfident. I'm not entirely sure, but he's going to come in here, do a little bit of harassment, maybe kill off a Goliath or two. Good micro so far from Mong, doing a good job of just moving and kiting backwards until he gets more reinforcements over here. And what a weird move. I don't think I've ever seen a two carrier push like that. Hey Foxhand, I'm watching the Korean stream on high because source was lagging for me. I can try changing it to source in the next game to see if that works, but I'm just worried about the stream lagging for us and me not being able to cast correctly. But lots of factories coming out now and only one machine shop. This is super weird, but I guess the focus right now is just getting tons and tons of Goliaths. It seems Mong is perfectly unconcerned with his ground army. He's mostly just worried about getting a lot of Goliaths up, because if he gets a lot of Goliaths up, he can push away this carrier harass really, really easily. And with such an early investment in carriers, Harangi really doesn't have that much of a ground army to threaten the third of the natural, and so this small number of tanks is actually just going to be perfectly fine.
흘리면 안 되죠.
A little bit of hull damage on that carrier. This is so strange, just having these two carriers hanging out.
물량을 잡아먹어야 되는데 이게 사실 상황 자체는 초반에 몽구 선수가 괜찮지 않았습니까?
그렇죠.
근데 게임이 이렇게 흘러가게 된 계기가 맵이 토스가
It looks like a pretty big dedicated push coming through here. It's going to be hard to get through that choke though. He's going to have a lot better success if he tries to go to the other ramp. But at this point, honestly, as the Terran player, you need to have constant scans, see where the army is, make sure you're not getting out of position. But Harangi continuing with this really weird carrier harass while moving his army through the center of the map. And this is actually really clever because it forces the Terran army to walk in between this area out in front of the natural and the main. And that's such a long distance for ground units to move around in. But the big push is coming in now, and Mong is just going to sacrifice his main to these carriers. He doesn't seem to care that his stuff is getting destroyed. He's just going to try to go for a front push and outright win the game right now. And let me be clear, this is an all-in. There's pretty much no chance for Mong to get back in the game unless Harangi just happens to leave all his carriers right now, but it doesn't look like he's going to do that. And a Zealot flank is set up, so that's going to be really brutal in the coming moments, depending on what happens. But more and more units streaming out of those factories, maybe they'll be able to push away the carriers for now. But the big attack coming in right now, can Harangi break this? This is a lot of Zealots, and they're already on top of the tanks. That's never what you want. And so many Zealots, they're going to swarm right on top of these tanks with good splits. He's going to easily be able to clean this up, I think. Just continue splitting those units, and yeah, it's definitely going in favor of the Protoss at this point. Almost all the tanks are cleaned up, and this is going to be pushed back. Mong with almost nothing. This is why you can't do straightforward pushes with this many Goliaths. That's the power of carriers, is you force out a lot of Goliaths, and then there's no tanks to fight the ground army. One of those carriers being picked off, maybe a second one? No. Looks like Mong has to back off right now, but a lot of stuff lost for Mong. His tank counts reset. He doesn't have a lot of units, and he lost both his armories in his main base and a lot of SCVs. So definitely further behind now than he was before, and I don't see him coming back in this game. It's going to take quite a bit for him to actually get back into this. Very interesting that Harangi only stuck with the handful of carriers. He didn't really go too ham on the carrier production and focused instead on getting lots of gateways up after those initial ones. So very smart play to bait out the Goliaths and destroy the ground army, easy peasy. And the fourth base is up now for Harangi as well, so he's going to have tons of economy. 10 gates is pretty strong. He's even going to be getting +1 ups for his carriers. Looks like some of the mech upgrades are starting again, but this is brutal. Finally, we're getting some of these vultures out with the spider mines. That's going to make life a lot easier for pushes in the future. But at this point, I think Mong's already lost so much ground that he can't really make this happen. It was honestly way too many Goliaths in that army. You only really need about, we'll say, like 4 Goliaths per carrier. That might be an underestimate. 4 to 6. We'll say 4 to 6.
원래 테란의 한 방에 있어서 항상 체크는 탱크 숫자거든요. 지금 몽고는 탱크가 없습니다.
So just both players settling down, just trying to find an edge, find an advantage in this game. And it's a bit of a risky expansion for sSak, but at this point in the game you have to take a risky expansion in order to get back into the game. But there's only 2 tanks. There's 2 tanks against the entire Protoss army, and I don't believe this is going to be enough to stop it, even with maybe the best mine hits in the world. Only 2 more tanks coming out right now. This very low machine shop count is really coming back to haunt Mong. It's not very good, and beautiful positioning by the Protoss army. Just run up the big ramp over here. There's almost no tanks in position to actually deal with it, but the Zealots were stuck behind the Dragoons for a little while, so a lot more damage done here than maybe there should have been, but more and more units pouring in here. I think the carriers are just going to be too strong. The carriers picking off all the tanks, and there's nothing but Goliaths and a few vultures to deal with this. That's not going to be enough. Surely Mong is going to tap out soon, but he is continuing to try. He believes he might be able to hold this and push this back, but there's too many carriers, and carriers snowball really hard.
유경민 진짜 잘하네요.
One of the carriers is going to go down to these Goliaths. A little bit of inattention there for Harangi, but you can see Mong's hands off the keyboard. There's the GG. Harangi taking the very first match. Very well played. Harangi is continuing to impress me.
윤찬이를 잡아내면서 승리로 이끕니다.
이번 시즌의 다크 우승의 이경민 선수가 맵에 대한 활용도가 굉장히 높은데 아스텍을 굉장히 잘하는 친구인데
It was a good game. Mong and head in hands. It's surprising because we've always talked about how Mong has really good TVP. So it's very strange to see him just kind of flounder around like
일단
that.
이경민 선수 지난 경기에서 2킬을 했거든요. 3킬을 한 몽문을 잡았는데
Definitely the heavy Goliath style, not all that good.
라고 볼 수 있겠네요.
사실 아까도 말씀드렸듯이 몽군도 못한 부분이 없었어요.
네.
경기를 하는 데 있어서 스캔으로 상대 빌드를 빨리 파악하고 서치로 넥서스 빨리 가져가는 걸 파악한 상황에서
그렇죠.
엔지니어링 베이도 생략하고 그리고 탱크의 업그레이드 생략하면서 최대한 부유한 플레이를 가져갔는데도 불구하고 이 맵을 활용하는 빌드와 전략, 움직임으로 경기를 풀어나간 이경민
Well,
선수가
I'm sure Shine is like, if he had just listened to me and learned my secret strategies.
제가 아까도 말씀드렸지만
If you guys remember Shine versus Mong in the ASL, in ASL 3, that was amazing. That was probably the best like series I've seen in a long time. Where Shine just completely embarrassed Mong with like 3 or 4 different like weird builds. It was wonderful.
저그 누구 있습니까?
저그 한 명 있죠.
정말 잘하는 선수 아닙니까?
거의 적의 끝이라고 할 수
I
있는
miss Shine. I haven't seen Shine play in so long. Is Shine even in these team battles, or did? Oh, that's right. Didn't his team get like wrecked the first week? I think they did. Yeah, Team Sulky light all killed them. That's right. I was like, I haven't seen Shine play. I wonder where he went. It's because he got completely wrecked. That's why.
자, 맵을 설명드리자면은 아스텍과 비슷합니다. 밸런스 자체는 저가 굉장히 괜찮아요.
Side note, guys, I am also the managing editor of the Heroes of the Storm section on TeamLiquid.net. So, right now I'm also like I'm like looking over at my Skype and finding out that the casters for HGC China are like, all the guys at TeamLiquid.net are awesome. They put out all these awesome articles, etc. So I feel pretty cool. Feel good about our section over there.
지더라도 자기 할 만큼 했다라고 충분히 할 수 있는 역할을 한 상황이고 이기게 된다면 이 팀배에서 굉장히 유리한.
I definitely like to have more English casters, but I think the main problem is that well, first of all, Bisu Dagger has a baby. XKCD fell off the face of the earth. I know Shampoo and Flash for the Wind are on West Coast, so like most Korean casts actually happen at like 3 a.m. their time, so it's basically impossible to convince them to cast. And I don't know, I don't see Blind Rar that much, even though he's in India, which is I say approximately, it's definitely closer to Korean time than US time. Blind Rar is the Indian dude. Just haven't seen him around much. Maybe I could have asked him today. I haven't seen him in chat recently, so forgot to. If he's in the Twitch chat right now and wants to cast, then I'm totally up for it. Looks like we're being headed into the second game now. Alright, getting into game 2, looks like it's going to be Harong 2 versus Sulky. Sulky? Am I getting that right, or did I totally just make that up? Misagi is Sulky, right? You guys. Oh, it's Effort, sorry, my bad. Oh yeah, Misagi's Effort. I'm pretty sure that Sulky has a similar-ish name. So it's gonna be in the green, up in the top right-hand corner. That's gonna be Effort. And in the bottom right-hand corner, in the white, coming off of a nice win in first game, it's going to be Harong2, aka Harangi. Honestly, you guys, I don't mind casting solo. I actually really enjoy casting solo. It's nice. Not that I'm opposed to casting with other people. If anybody wants to cast, I'm certainly fine with casting with other people, but I don't mind casting alone. I pretty much enjoy it, even though I don't know all that much. So Forge Fast Expand going to be coming out of Harangi. No surprise there. We're on Gladiator, which is the big map with all of these wonderful ridges that allow for all kinds of kiting back and wonderful cool things. In the ZVP matchup, it definitely allows you to do some cute things with lurkers on the high ground, making it really hard for Protoss to push up. At the same time, Protoss can hold one of those little ridges for a little while and prevent Zerg from actually really pushing forward with Hydralisk just due to the high ground advantage, etc., etc. So, Temple coming out. Whoa, he almost lost that drone. He's got to be really careful about that, but if anybody's got the APM to take care of this drone and make sure it doesn't get sniped, it's effort, but he's definitely losing a lot of mining time by having to run this drone around. Probably lost, like, maybe 30-ish minerals or so just by running that drone around, so a little bit unfortunate there. Tons of damage going down on all these drones. Quite surprised how much damage that probe was able to do. But it looks like it's just going to be standard Forge. Oh, he lost the probe to drones. That's not supposed to happen. Guys, don't lose your drones, or don't lose your probe to drones. That's horrible. That's so bad. But I guess that's the price you pay for being so aggressive early on with the probe, is eventually it will get chipped down a little bit, enough to where a small drone surround will actually just straight up kill it. So we're going to see the triple hatch coming up, looks like in the 12 o'clock position. Second probe is going out right now. I'm not sure if these Lings will actually be able to stop it, but it doesn't look like Harangi's actually going to scout with it. He keeps running along with the Lings, but tight wall off here, that's going to be able to stop those Lings for right now.
그죠, 그거 아니었으면 쑥 지나갔거든요.
그리고 멀티는 12시로 가져갑니다. 네. 자, 이 맵이 왜 저가 좋냐면 언덕이 많으면 저가 이점이 커요. 뭐가 까다롭습니까? 언덕에 러커를 박아놓으면 테란 투수가 뚫기도 어렵고, 그리고 저가 저글링 위주의
Hey, Edward Anus Hands. I appreciate the offer to cast, but maybe next time. How's that?
이 맵 자체가 저거가 굉장히 할 만한 맵이기 때문에.
Their bigs going down for Zerg as well as the gas, so probably going to be having a lair on the way soon. A little bit greedy to not block this off with a probe or a zealot at all, but right now Harangi has complete information on his opponent. He knows that there's no Zergling speed coming along anytime soon. He knows that the Zergling count's only at 2, so no real pressure coming his way at this current moment in time. It's going to be fine. +1 coming out pretty early, so we're definitely going to see a speed lock push coming out. Oh, looks like he canceled it at the last second. Maybe he was trying to fake the Zerg out with a scouting Ling or something like that. But instead, we see the Stargate coming out. We're probably going to see a little bit later of a +1. But maybe that early +1 was just psych out his opponent. Oh, excuse me. I got burps. Heartburn there. There's our +1. It's so hard to find things to talk about in the early parts of the game. This is making me realize how much I value Tastosis and other casters that, you know, they watch a million of these games and they see the same opening in like billions and billions of games, and so after a while they're just like, they know, you know, they know exactly what's going to happen, so they just find ways to fill the time. And a bit of an interesting variation here from Harangi, going for that Dragoon instead of the second and third Zealot. This is a bit of an older strategy. You usually get the Dragoons so that you can push away Overlords from your national and your main, prevent the Zerg from getting full scouting information. It's not usually that important because Zerg can still technically just go for Blind Lair, Blind Spire, and just get Scourged and be able to hold off pretty much anything. As long as you're paying attention to the Forge and any sort of Zealots at the front, like you're totally fine as Zerg. You can't really die to anything that Protoss can do, but pretty interesting to get for that Dragoon anyway. It might set up a bit of a mid-game timing, just going heavy into the Dragoons.
못 지나가요. 나중에 저 게이트를 결국 깨야 되는 거고요. 지금 마음이 아파. 이미 이경민 선수 말렸어요. 지금 드라군이 못 지나가. 이러면 아콘도 못 지나간다는 소리거든요. 상대가 뮤탈 떴을 경우에 굉장히 말리게 되고. 저 일단은 공발질이 아니고 빠르게 템플 한개 두는 것 같아요. 이경민 선수가 빠른 세팅으로 왔습니다. 그러니까 발업 질럿을 하기보다는 공업을 빨리 누르고 그다음에 공이업까지 빨리 누르면서 이제 후반을 도모하는데 이경민 선수 스타일의 가장 큰 특징이 이거예요. 이 토스가 주도권을 가져가는 그 타이밍에 프로브를 많이 눌러요. 업그레이드와. 그래서 뭐냐 지금 당장은 이경민 선수가 약하고 딱히 할 게 없어요. 근데 2분, 3분이 지나고 게이트가 폭발하는 순간 남들보다 분량이 많이 나와요. 그렇기 때문에 이게 이경민 선수와 다른 토스의 가장 큰 차이점이에요. 이경민 선수가
Sorry, I just thought the comments there were a little bit too vulgar, but we see the DTs coming out right now. So it is going to be the Corsair DT, a little bit more of a classic build rather than the more aggressive speed zealot builds that we see these days. Straight into the Templar, so very defensive play coming out from Harangi. He's just going to be focusing on getting that strong tech army up early on, and woo, some Mutalisks! That's always interesting. You don't see that very often, just straight Mutalisks, but looks like he might be going into a very aggressive play with these Mutalisks and Scourge, just trying to play very aggressively and hit that Ihan timing.
질 필요가 없어요. 자원 효율을 극대화해서 방어 타워를 아예 안 짓는다. 그리고 제가 공격을 가면서 압박을 주는 식으로 플레이를 많이 하죠. 지금 캐논이 한 개밖에 없어요. 너무 토스가 부유하게 째고.
And if he does get the Eon diving, I swear to God, I will yell, I will scream for you guys. Does that sound?
공격까지 찍으면서 커세어를 모아두고 있거든요.
But probably not.
근데 지금 뮤탈이 방일업을 찍고 기다리는 뮤탈.
So more and more mutas just building up right now. I wonder if I wonder how many mutas he's actually gonna go for. If he's gonna go for a dozen, if he's gonna aim for like a dozen and a half, maybe. This is a ton of air units and very uncharacteristic play. Just going very heavy into the air play while building tons of sunken colonies, and it may have been a mistake here for Harangi to go to turtle up so heavily and focus on just getting tech units. He probably could have already had a third base started by now, and there's not really much that Zerg can do about it at this point. So very odd. This mid game just suddenly got very odd. You know, I complained earlier about how like we didn't have a particularly interesting early game, but this mid game has already gotten quite interesting. Don't even know what's going on at this point, but here's the move out right now. Everything's been seen by this Dark Templar though, so Harangi knows exactly what's coming. He knows exactly where the Mutalisks are and their angle of attack, so this is not going to be surprising for him at all. There's a ton of Scourge doing the splits, and here's the Ihan timing. He's going to try to come in here right now. He's tanking the cannons pretty nicely, and he got a lot of those Corsairs, but I don't think it's going to be enough. That's not enough to break his opponent, and that was a very nice storm. Did a lot of damage to those Mutalisks. Not the Ihan timing, unfortunately. He tried. So to follow up here, what happens is Zerg is really far behind in upgrades and ground tech, so it's very difficult to actually come back at this point without doing any damage with that, because Harangi is just going to be able to continually build units and get up a really strong ground army, but he's focusing really heavily on getting a lot of zealots out, which I think is pretty interesting. Here come the Dragoons. Okay. Just getting a very Dragoon-heavy, big ground army is going to be very strong for Harangi at this point. Because if you have the Dragoons, you can deal with the Mutalisks very well. If your opponent tries to go for Lurkers, which looks like that's what Effort's going for here, the Dragoons with range do very well against Lurkers as well. So all you need is the Observer, and then you can suddenly push across the map with a huge Death Army and a couple Storms, and it's very hard for the Protoss to actually deal with that. Or sorry, the Zerg to deal with that. So cool play from Effort right now. I would like to see him go ahead and take that fourth while he's got this full map control. I would have been happy seeing the fourth even a little bit earlier. And this is what I was talking about earlier, is you have this cute stuff with the Lurkers on the high ground. They're just barely on the high ground there. So it makes the mischance for the Dragoons much higher. It makes it much harder to actually break out of here. For right now, it's just going to be continued pushing up with the Lurkers, and wow, I can't believe he actually managed to snipe that. Effort has such high APM, it's so easy for him to continually push up with these Lurkers, but he's done a pretty good job of pushing up so far. He's lost 2 Lurkers in the process though, unfortunately, and what are these Mutas doing? Okay, so basically just almost lost an entire Muta ball to snipe 0 Templar. That was the strangest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen someone try to bring in a dozen Mutas into a whole bunch of units in position to snipe a Templar. You're supposed to snipe the Templar out of position. So, a little bit strange. Observer's out now. Effort not paying attention, not pulling that Lurker back on time. It looks like Effort's going to try to set up just big Mutaling counterattacks, and that's going to be the name of this game for probably the rest of the game. Is just huge counterattacks and relying on Lurkers and Sunkens back at home to actually defend, but I don't know if that's going to work. Right now, this is a pretty big Protoss army, and there's still a lot of Storms left over. Not enough of the Sunkens really to actually push this back either, so I'm a little bit worried here for Effort. He's in a really bad position. Once again, Hwang just has complete control of the map. He can do whatever he wants. And I feel like this just comes off the back of just being really defensive and smart. Right now he's not paying attention to his Dragoons, so he's going to lose a couple of those Dragoons for free, but good Storm going down there, being able to clean up a lot of those Zerglings, and not paying attention to the Mutalisks again. They're going to get picked off and pushed away. But wow, this is so many Lings, and this is the big counterattack. They're not paying attention, so they're not actually going to get on top of these, but I think these are +2 Zealots versus only +1 Carapace Lings, so they're going to definitely be able to push this back. Adrenal Glands is about to finish, and that's when the Lings really come online. I wish we could see that Zealot versus Zergling fight, so we could see the Zealots winning really, really hard, and then all of a sudden the tide's turning. Ro4 just continuing to push across the map. He got his 3rd base cancelled yet again, so that is definitely unfortunate. Right now, Effort is slowly pulling ahead in economy by getting that 4th base up, and this base hasn't been broken yet, so very surprising there. And good snipes here with these Scourge, but not going to be able to kill off all these Corsairs, and the Mutalisks get chased back yet again. I'd say Effort is doing a surprisingly good job with what little he has, but I'm honestly really surprised at how small the army is for Hwang. It's like he's not macroing, or he's just losing units, way too many units unnecessarily. And these Cracklings are so cost efficient, it's actually insane. Effort just doing a really good job of playing smart and doing the right counterattacks in this game, picking off a couple more Corsairs, so that's going to be really nice going into the future. And this is a style we don't normally see in ZVP, is Mutaling Lurker. You just don't see this very often. He needs to bro those Lurkers. That's almost the perfect position to kill off all those. He's actually just going to sacrifice the Lings and back up. I love this. I love this smart play from Effort, just continually trading mineral-only units while saving his gas units as much as possible. And that's going to be really nice. It looks like maybe a drop came up into the top right-hand corner. No, it's just an observer that's going to see what's going on. I definitely expect to see some drops coming in pretty soon, maybe a couple Storm drops. Even just a Zealot drop in that top right or top left-hand corner could be pretty devastating. couple lanes getting picked off for free, but I think they managed to kill a Zealot anyway. It's insane how good cracklings are. They're just crazy. But I think once the Archon count builds up enough, it's going to be very difficult to actually deal with the Protoss army. In Harangi's position, all you have to do is slowly add on units and patrol back and forth between your bases. Make sure you don't take any damage, max out, and then just move across the map and win. That's really all it takes, but he ended up hemorrhaging so many units and not properly defending his third that he's actually, he has a very strong army. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely a very strong army over here, but it's not enough to outright kill effort, I don't think. There's not a lot of stuff. Maybe if he can break that third base with all the sunkins, but it's going to be hard pressed. Sorry, that's the natural. Here come the Reavers. The Reavers going to be able to kill off these sunkins very easily, and the Mule is trying to snipe off the shuttle, unsuccessful. And actually, I take that back. This is completely broken already. Wow, those Reavers really cleaning up the sunkins so fast, and Harangi's just all over the place now. There's only Lings that are going to be able to reinforce and clean this up, but it's going to be quite difficult to actually get on top of this with the two Reavers, with the Archon, and a couple more Storms in the back. But actually, Everett's actually just going to go for the counterattack, but smartly, Harang is pulling back just in time. He's not going to fall for the mistake of pushing in way too hard. These Lurkers just out of position, can't get them burrowed in the right place, and the main has been breached now as well. Effort in a lot of trouble. A lot of his tech is going to be going down right now. And once all this tech goes down, then it's going to be significantly harder to actually deal with this. Spire's going to be going down, and then the Defiler Mound and the spawning pool shortly after that. So at that point, there's really nothing else that you can do. And Harang 2, he's just actually just gunning it straight for the top left. He's going to go straight for that. If he can take out that expansion, there's only one more left, and no units to defend it. Very smart play from Harangi, knowing when to push his advantage, getting just the right units to push in, and only a handful of mutas versus this. This is not going to work out in any universe ever. There's never a universe where this is a winning game for Effort. Well played by Effort overall, but a lot of Lings coming out right now. He's going to try to get the jump on all of these Dragoons and just snipe the rest of the Zealots with his mutas, but this is going to be rough. Definitely Harang not doing the best of pulling back his Zealots to buffer for the Dragoons, so he's definitely going to lose a lot, but in the process, almost all of the Zerg has been cleaned up, even drones being pulled offline. When you pull drones at this point, like, it's never good for you. There's only Zealots left, but it doesn't really even matter. Even with a couple mutas in the sky, they're going to be able to clean that up. A couple more units coming over the Nidus. That's actually really nice. That is a boon for Effort right now. But like I said, his main was completely destroyed. He has no mining in his natural anymore either. So he's mining off of 2 base versus 3 as a Zerg player. And he lost a lot of his tech, including the spawning pool and the Spire. I wasn't sure if the Spire was sniped again for a second time there. I think it was. And this is really rough. This is a rough position for Effort. All Harangi has to do is remax and go again. He's losing a couple more units unnecessarily, and this has been the one bane of his existence here. It's just not being able to control these large armies well enough and just having small groups of units being picked off here and there. But eventually he should be able to push in here and kill off Effort, even taking a 4th base behind it. Very smart play. I love all these Zealots on the ramp too. Foxhand says Effort has really bad long-term planning. I can agree to that. I think he relies really heavily on his mechanics to get him through things. So when his more aggressive plays don't work out, he definitely has some issues with closing out the game. Definitely not a visionary like someone like Flash, who just plans way into the late game. Or Jaedong. I guess that's probably a better example because they're both Zerg players. Anyhow, the main has been cleaned up right now, and Effort is only mining off of 2 bases. Right now, Harangi has to be really careful with this group of units. He can't afford to lose anything for free, but a couple of Lings are going to be hemorrhaged off there. And is he actually going to take the center map expansion? You know it's BM if you take the center map expansion. You know that's the point where you're like, man, I just lost. Nice storm drops, wrong side of the mineral line, yo. At this point, it honestly doesn't matter. He could have completely whiffed those storms and it'd be like, yeah, those are pretty good storms.
왜냐면 이제 곧 있으면 가스도 말라요. 가스 두 군데 다 마르면 이제 가스윤이 없고 가지고 있는 가스 유닛으로 멀티를 깨야 되는 상황이거든요.
그래도 사막한이랑 러시로 갑니다.
And more units coming in right now. There's one lurker, a couple of mutilates, a couple of Lings. Oh, he's gonna snipe the observers. That's huge. It's gonna be way harder to break this space. But honestly, I think there's enough to just walk in here. There's only one lurker, so it's not like this is really all that scary. There's not a lot of damage being pumped out by only one lurker, and there's so many units out right now. They're just gonna be able to push through. But actually, maybe the splash damage was enough to push this back. Wow, that's actually amazing. I can't believe this is actually that was actually held. I mean, I think Effort's still in a really horrible position, but man, he did manage to stop that 4th base from going down, and Harangi's not focusing on getting the 4th base down. He should have been putting down a 4th base while he was attacking here, but I think just focusing way too hard on trying to finish off his opponent, and the longer this game goes and turns into a micro battle, the better chance that Effort has of winning, because Effort is all about that micro, he's all about that heavy APM. If you play into Effort's game and let him just try to out APM you, you are gonna lose. But Reaver drop coming in right now, trying to snipe a couple of these drones, but the drone's already being pulled, very smartly done, and that's not gonna get anything done. That's gonna be pushed back. And I believe the Mutalists are on a connection course. They're gonna be able to pick this off. This is so obnoxious. This is actually really bad for Harangi. You know how I said Harangi there was no way in hell that like Effort could actually win this game? Effort's about to win this game. As long as he doesn't lose these Mutalists. Oh my god, he's got a fresh flock of Mutalists. Harangi's almost mined out. He's got almost nothing. He didn't take a 4th base, and there's still 2 base mining going on for Effort. He's going to be able to pick off these 2. Oh, we even see a Dark Archon. That's going to be interesting. But he picked off the 2 High Templar, and that's a significant chunk of damage. There's a lot of Archons here, but Archons will eventually go down to something as cost efficient as Mutiling. But needs to be really careful, these Mutalists, not to take too much damage, because that is the good way to lose the game. Oh, he might be able to pick off the Dark Archon. If he can pick... Oh, he didn't quite pick off the Dark Archon. That's a little bit unfortunate. Where's that second group of Mutalists? I'd love to see that just fly in and pick off the Dark Archon and walk away. Alright, he killed off the Dark Archon, so no Maelstrom available. It's just this tiny army of a couple of Archons and a Reaver and a couple of Dragoons, and that's honestly pure Ling in the right positioning can definitely just straight up kill this. So, it's like Harangi, he's gonna try to just turtle heavily on this mid base, and this is a Hail Mary play. He's got nothing left. He's just really hoping that he can defend this. A couple more Zealots coming in, so that's going to be nice. But huge group of Lings coming across the map. That looks like at least 2 subgroups. They're coming down to the middle of the map, and Effort's setting up a big surround on the space. He's definitely going to try to just straight up kill this army. Here comes the attack. He's going to pick off the Reaver, so no more Reaver, no more splash damage coming out from that. And the units are split again. Harangi, again, not doing very well at controlling his units, and lots of units go down to these mineral-only Lings. That's a very good trade for Effort at this point in time. He's actually re-expanding back into his main, I think. If he re-expands into his main, he'll definitely be in a really good shape to continue mining and be able to recoup his losses. But oh gosh, he's just gonna try to pick off a couple of probes here. Once this Nexus finishes, it's going to be much scarier, but it's going to pick off another Archon. If that last Archon goes down, and there's the GG! Effort did it! Holy crap! Oh my god! That was insane. I have no idea, and you can see the relief. Oh no, sorry, that's the anger feel. That's the sad feel for Prong. Sorry, that's not relief, that's sadness. Yeah, Harangi just upset. He really shouldn't have lost that game, but he never took the fourth. So really unfortunate there. That was I would say that was definitely a throw from Harangi. He could have played better, but at the same time, you know, it's one of those things where you expect, like, I 100% killed the Zerg player, I should win the game now. But when you try to play into that mini game of just trying to out micro Effort, it's not gonna happen. Effort is one of the fastest players out there, and if it comes down to just pure micro and unit control, you're gonna lose to Effort. Effort's really good at that. There's a reason why Effort is like one of the best ZVZ players in the world. Like, it's because he's really fast. So insane stuff from Effort. It's really interesting to see him go for that Mutilating Lurker style of play as well. I think there's definitely some potential for that. We've definitely seen a huge veer into more Hydra heavy compositions, going really heavily into Hydra bus, things like 3-hatch Hydra bus, 5-hatch Hydra bus, 5-hatch Hydra bus into drops, 5-hatch Hydra bus into heavy lurker play, etc. So it's really refreshing to see a different type of style going down. Especially one that relies entirely on backstabbing and keeping your opponent on the back foot, despite having an army disadvantage. So really cool stuff. Dank Archon. I'm down with Dank Archons.
게다가 최우선 선수가 나왔을 경우는 이 맵이 사실 저가 나쁘지 않거든요. 뒷마당 공짜기 때문에 상가스를 너무 쉽게 가져가요. 그 때문에 이런 뒷마당 가스 있는 맵의 특징은 역상성으로 많이 가요. 역상성. 토스가 저그를 잡으러 나올 수도 있고, 윤용태 선수라면은 충분히 그 맵의 이점을 활용할 수 있는 경력 있는 선수이기 때문에.
I'm just drinking my coffee and relax. After such an intense game. Oh god, there's still things I have to do. My life is so busy. By the way, you guys, looks like for the round of 4, they definitely moved up a lot of the newer maps, so we're going to be seeing those in some of the earlier sets, which is going to be super exciting. Crossing Field is next for the 3rd set, and in the 4th set we get Uzi Sara, so we're pretty much guaranteed to see, yeah, we're actually 100% guaranteed to see Crossing Field and Uzi Sara in every single game in the round of 4, so I'm super excited about that. I enjoyed watching the few games that we got to see. I think we only actually got to see one game on both of those in the last match. But either way, I really liked both of those maps, and they definitely set up some interesting new stuff to look out for. So, looking forward to seeing those used a little bit more.
아마 크로싱 필드 저그전을 준비했습니다. 왜냐면 아까도 말씀드렸듯이 첫 경기에서 이경민 선수가 나와서 만약 이게 된다면
Oh, James says Shine confirmed that there was no Maelstrom upgrade, so that was actually just an Archon, a Dark Archon for, I don't know, maybe it was like a Mutant Magnet, but a little bit unfortunate that that Harangi wasn't able to close that out. Hey Crimson, Greg is not going to cast today, unfortunately. He said, I think he's visiting his parents or something like that. So he's out for this week. He's not going to be able to cast with me. It is indeed difficult for me to cast alone. There's no downtime at all. That's probably the hardest part to solo casting. It's something that, I mean, I think it's really important to do both, to cast with other people and cast solo, because in casting solo you really have to, there's a lot of different skills you have to build up in terms of just practicing talking a lot and making sure that you're continuing to interact with the game, interact with your audience, try to find ways to minimize all the downtime. And that's especially difficult because it is a marathon. You have no downtime to rest your voice. So you're, after going for like an hour and a half straight, like your voice does definitely take a toll. But it's something that I think is worth learning. The other aspect is you also have to balance the analytical and the hype sides. When you're casting with a co-caster, one caster can be like the hype caster and the other one can be the analytical caster. And when you're casting solo, you have to kind of mix those up a little bit more. But it's not too much of a problem because I kind of mixed it up before when I was casting with Flash for the Win as well. I originally came on as like a quote-unquote hype caster, but I think Flash for the Win does that better, but he's also better at analysis, so he's actually just a better caster overall. So overall, we just kind of mixed it and do a little bit of both each. But I'm definitely looking forward to casting more. I'm planning on starting a streaming schedule up pretty soon once I move into my new place, and then I'll be casting a lot more Brood War, casting maybe even some heroes if I have the time. So it'll be pretty cool.
그렇죠. 굉장히 재밌는 해설이 될 것 같고요. 자, 저희는 그러면 기다릴 필요 없이 현재 세트스코어 1대1 드디어 균형이 무너질 때가 됐습니다. 김정우 대 조일장, 조일장 대 김정우 시작하도록.
Mr. Edward, I apologize for timing you out earlier. It's hard for me to really tell who's like a troll in chat and who's not. I assume you guys are all good, but I never know, and I don't have any mods at the moment. All right, heading into game 3. It's gonna be Hero versus Effort. Oh my God, we're gonna have a ZVZ on crossing field. I'm super excited about this. Oh God, Hero versus Effort. So this can go one of two ways. Either it's gonna be like a really epic back and forth ZVZ with like really intense Muta Scourge micro and like really subtle mind games, because both of these players are really good at ZVZ. It's either going to be that, or it's going to be like a one-sided stomp where one player just has more lanes than the other, and that's the end of the game. So we'll have to see. But I guess that's the general feeling that you get from ZVZ. ZVZs always turn out that way. It's either like super epic or really uninteresting. But I like ZVZ. There's lots of little intricacies. It's difficult to really defend or scout very well in this matchup, so you end up with a lot of very difficult things to keep up with. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna figure out who is who real quick. We have Hero's name is Jo Il-jong. Okay, so Effort is gonna be in the red. And, sorry, Hero is going to be in the red, and Effort is in the yellow. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't say that sooner. So, we have Effort over here. It looks like he's going to be going for either the 12 pull, or if he's crazy, he's going to go for the 12 hatch. I would be really surprised if he went for the 12 hatch, but oh my God, what a baller. He is going to be going for the 12 hatch. This is usually really risky in this matchup, but it works really nicely if you know your opponent's going to be going for the 12 pull. Meanwhile, across the map, it looks like it's going to be a 12 hatch mirror. This is very rare. You almost never see this, but it might also have to do with the shape of this map as well. We talked about this a little bit on the TriCast last week, is that this map is so big and so long, and the rush distance is gigantic, that going for early expands is really not all that bad, because it's got this kind of weird circular area in the middle of the map, and then like getting up into the natural is a really long way as well. So pretty cool stuff from both these players. I believe this one also has the backdoor expansion, so you can go up to 3 bases pretty quickly. And if we get to a point where both players can defend their 2 bases, we could definitely see some high-tech ZVZ on this map in particular. Did I ever put my face back up? I did not. Hey guys, where's my face? Where's my face? There's my face. Alright. Small things. This is definitely the thing to keep an eye on, is where people spend their first gas and how many guys they pull off gas immediately afterwards. But looks like Effort is going to be going into the lair. He's going to continue getting gas, so he's definitely going to be going heavy into the Mutalisk. Not going to be playing ultra safe, and that's not surprising, knowing that his opponent with 12 hatch as well. He doesn't really have to cut drones. He doesn't really have to get extra minerals out for a sunken early on. He can just relax, drone up really heavily, if he sees Lings coming out from his opponent, he just builds one more set of Lings, and then he's safe. So, smart play so far by both players, just doing the standard ZVZ things. It's really nice to actually see a passive ZVZ opening. It's not something you see very often. So, it almost kind of guarantees that we'll be going into a mostly normal mid-game without any kind of crazy shenaniganry. But 2 of these Lings sneaking around, they're going to be able to get in the middle line, but 2 more Lings come out. Easy, going to be able to easily deal with that. And this is a small win for Effort. He managed to force out an extra set of Lings from Hero. But actually, he's going really heavy into Lings himself, so maybe just playing a little bit safer. Maybe he saw those Lings out in the natural and wanted to make sure he was safe. But I think this might be an overcommitment to Lings for Effort. Either that or he's going to be going for a big attack coming up soon. Hey Penny Brood War SC2. I've actually been casting all of the team battles this week and last week, so if you ever want to check it out, I will always be casting these for right now unless I fall asleep. Ooh, look at that hiding spot behind the tree, dude. Behind the tree. Oh, he finds him anyway. What? What? Map hacks. I think he just saw it on the mini-map, because even though you can't actually see it. Look, the Lings are hiding into the tree over there too. Oh gosh. Okay, now we know Crossing Field has the magical hidden tree. Oh, is he actually got Lings up into the main. That's insane. There's not really much to scout. Nothing that like out of the ordinary that you would see. It's not like, oh my gosh, this is incredible, but it's going to be really annoying because he can just run around with these Lings forever and cause trouble, and you really have to tag them in order to deal with it. Meanwhile, a big attack coming across the map from Effort. Ling's still alive in the main base. Could definitely pick off a couple drones if it's left alone. Meanwhile, the first Mulas are coming out from both players, so we're definitely going to start moving into that Mulas versus Mulas fight. Ling in the main dies, so that's dealt with now. Hero definitely feeling a lot more comfortable in his position now, moving across the map with his Lings. I guess talking about my beard. Oh gosh. This is me just not shaving for like 3 days because I've been busy moving all my stuff. But another Ling getting into the main base. Gonna see what's going on in Hero's base. Like I said, it's at this point in the game, you don't expect to see anything other than Mutalis. Oh, this Mutalis, no! That is really unfortunate. Losing any Mutalis in this at this point in the game is really rough. But oh, that's a really good concave coming out. The Mutalis are gonna have to come home and clean this up. That's a lot of Lings that survived, and that's gonna cause a lot of damage and be very obnoxious to deal with. He honestly needs to probably split his Mutalis, but actually the rest of the Lings from Hero move out, so not too much damage done. The biggest problem is just that he lost some mining at that natural, lost some of that gas mining, so that might be a problem later on in the game, but not too big of a deal for right now. And this is the phase of the game where it's just lots of Mutalis, lots of Scourge. You're gonna see small like little couples of Scourge just scatting around the map looking for Mutalis, and the Mutalis from both players just kind of jockey around, making sure that they're not caught out by the other Mutalis pack, etc., etc. So there is a certain timing that some players can do where they add on a couple of Lings and go for a big attack, but I think at this point both players are even enough in Larva and in units overall that sort of play is not going to happen. So mostly we're just going to be looking for, does anyone go for an epic battle, or is anybody going to get their spores up and go for hive tech with the defilers? And Mutalis flying into the main, they're actually going to be able to pick off at least 3 of these drones, and it's surprising to have this many Mutalis out of position. And here comes the big air battle. Lots of Scourge going through right now. And is the micro good enough from Effort? Is he going to be able to push this back? Is he going to be able to get the lead? Lots of the Mutalis have gone down for Hero, and actually I think almost all of them. And Effort winning this battle really nicely. He's actually going to be able to clean up all of Hero's Mutalis and more of these Scourge coming in, but 5 Mutalis left over. That is a huge win for Effort. At this point, he can move across the map. He can get a little bit of damage done, maybe pick off any Overlords in the center of the map. He's actually going to even bring a couple Lings to buffer it from any of the damage from the Mutalisk coming out as well. So very nicely played from Effort. Oh my gosh, he gets right on top of this Mutalisk as it's popping out. What luck, RNG, yo. Picking off the Scourge very nicely, and this is brutal. Hero doesn't have anything to deal with this. He's got Mutas in his main, he's got the Lynx harassing his natural, and a lot of drones are going to go down, if not all of them. There's the GG. Effort just taking a really decisive fight with those Mutalisks and taking the game. Wow. That's all it takes. It's just one screwed up fight, and honestly, I don't know why. I don't know why some players decide to go ultra aggressive with just the pure Scourge plus the Mutalisk. It seems a little bit strange to me to go for that timing unless you have a very decisive advantage. And like I said, it's difficult sometimes to see where your advantages are in ZVZ, but still, at the same time, I mean, we do have the luxury of seeing that, you know, like both players were pretty even, the larva was pretty even, the numbers were pretty even, so going for an attack was a bad idea, but maybe it's a little bit more difficult in Hero's position. Either way, it was a little strange for him to go for that. He didn't even have Lings underneath his Mutalisk to buffer the splash damage, so just a little questionable. Maybe just being a little bit overly greedy with his Mutalisk there on that harassment, just believing that maybe the flanking Scourge would be able to kill off the Mutalisk, but Effort with a good micro, able to micro around all those Scourge, kill off a couple for free, and just get the decisive Mutalisk lead there. Dr. Nabeness says, wouldn't happen to me if he had a wall of spore colonies like me. That's definitely how I would play this matchup. Can't kill me if I got 20 spores. I can't do anything else, but I don't think losing the Mutalisk, that random Mutalisk out early in the game had much of an effect on that fight. It was really just a poor fight in general, and just being way out of position with his mutas when he didn't have an advantage. Certainly having that extra muta helps, and it's a pretty big difference if you can in those larger fights later on, but I don't think that's like the deciding factor right there. Hey Yanzer, we are going into the 4th match right now. So far I believe it is 2-2. I think it's 2-2. Wait, no. Sorry, we're only on the 3rd match, so it's 2-1 in favor of Team Mong. No, Team sSak. Team Mong. I got this, guys. I don't know. Oh god. See, Harong won twice, Hero lost, so it's 2-1 in favor of Team sSak. My bad. Telling scores is like the equivalent of caster math. It's pretty rough. So who is sSak? Can anyone make a guess? Who is sSak? It's sSak. I don't know which player that is. I'm just kidding. That's sSak. So it's gonna be sSak versus Everett. We're gonna have a TVZ on our hands. So cool stuff right there. Oh, let me put my face up here. Ta-da! So in the right hand corner in the red trunks, that is going to be Mr. sSak, not Shine. I know it looks like Shine over there, but it's actually sSak. And up in the top left in the yellow, up after a pretty decisive ZVZ, that is going to be Effort. So sSak, if we talk about his TVZ, so I think sSak's TVZ is actually pretty decent. From what I remember, his TVT was definitely his strongest matchup. While his TVZ was pretty decent. I'll have to check the stats. I definitely
그만큼 본인이
Off the top of my head, I don't really remember exactly where he's strong and where he isn't. I haven't been watching his stream as much as of recent. Mostly, I watch Zerg streams, so I know the Zerg players a lot better.
최호선은 진짜 잘하는 선수거든요.
But are we going to see something crazy? Are we going to see an early pool coming out from effort? Really nice to see this early drone scout coming out. This is kind of cool to see this sort of play. It's going to delay. I think in some ways it hard counters a CC first play, and it definitely delays this this barracks if you do it perfectly right. But it looks like it is going to be a 12 hatchback at home. To some degree, this does lose you minerals against a normal build. A little bit surprising to see that early gas go down instead of the gasless fast expand that you usually expect in TVZ. So we may see something tricky coming out of sSak. He may go for something more standard, more or less standard. Maybe he'll go for just a couple of early vultures. We don't really know. It's going to be interesting to see how he plays this out. Looking forward to it. You guys did not see me just miss my mouth with my coffee. Oh god, I obviously need more coffee. Oh gosh, I'm a mess. Alright, so the factory is coming out, and it's not in a position where he can set up a machine shop. Maybe it's just to be hidden for now, and he'll lift up when he makes the machine shop. But if I had to guess, it looks more... Well, he's still mining gas, so I think we're definitely going to see a vulture drop. That's definitely what it's looking like at this point in time. You go for the vulture drop. That's actually a pretty smart play because the natural and the main are a little bit separated by these small ramps. So you can kind of drop on one side and then run them to the other side, pick them up, and then drop them in the natural, etc., etc. And it's a bit of a pain in the ass to actually deal with, so I think that's a smart play coming out from him. And this is one of those weird positionings. I've noticed this happened last time as well, but when you have the Overlord here, it's one of those weird positions where it's not actually safe for Marines, but it's also not really, it's like fairly safe. But I don't know, it's really weird to explain, but it should be one of those safe places, and that's where everyone sends their Overlord, but it can definitely be sniped by Marines if you're not paying attention, so a little bit of interestingness. And meanwhile, just seeing pretty standard stuff coming out from Effort so far. He did put a creep colony down at the low ground area for an earlier sunken colony. That's going to help him defend against any sort of frontal pushes, and it is going to be 2-port Wraith coming out. Very cool to see. 2-port Wraith is one of those really obnoxious builds to deal with if you're not prepared for it. At this point, he does need the Hydralisk in. He's already got it. Very smart, getting the Hydralisk speed as well, so Effort is going to be well prepared for these Wraiths when they first come in. It's going to be a little bit obnoxious to deal with them because, as I said, the architecture of this base makes it really easy to wander in between the mineral lines in the main and the natural. But once you have some well-placed Hydras in the way, it's not too much of a problem. So it looks like maybe another sunken going down there just to be extra safe. Oh, maybe he's actually gonna take a third base early. Here comes the first Wraith. Let's see if it gets any kills. Does not get a kill on that first drone. He is gonna be able to get a kill on the second drone, but a lot of damage going down on that Wraith. It's already half health, and you have to be really careful with Wraiths because they have almost 0 damage. Almost actually 0 damage. And he's gotta be careful just to make sure he's not taking too much damage on these early on. Managed to kill off that drone, so pretty nice damage overall so far. And this is really just a point where Zerg has to play ultra safe and just just turtle really hard on a couple of Hydras. I definitely would like to see a tech up into Lurkers. It's really cool what you can do with Lurkers when you know your opponent's going for something like this. You can definitely delay a lot by having a Lurker Hydra comp. And with some static defense back at home, you're 100% safe against this. And then you just Hydra Lurker your opponent's natural. There's not really much they can do about it. Very nice snipe on that drone, abusing the mineral lines and the ability for the Hydras to get behind that. It's a little bit interesting to do this on Uzisar. Uzisar is one of those maps that has a lot of weird gunners. Oh, and he is going to be going for an offensive sunken to contain his opponent. So pretty cool to see this. That is actually neat. I think the chat was saying this earlier, but they all kind of look the same. So sometimes I'm confused about what's the neutral one and what's the actual one. Ray's coming in here, but they're going to get pushed back by a couple Hydras and an Overlord. Effort being really smart with his positioning. He's actually going to move across the map right now and go for an attack, or at least push these Wraiths off the sunken. More smart play coming out from sSak, but when you go for a 2-port Wraith, it really has to pay off, and you have to get complete map control while you make the switch into either mech or bio. And so far, we haven't really seen either of those things. And the front is actually going to get broken, and I don't think he's going to be able to kill this bunker, but definitely a lot of damage done there to slow his opponent down. The Wraiths are going to be able to clean this up, and I don't know, maybe that was actually pretty good for sSak. Only losing a supply depot for all of those Hydralists is a pretty good trade, honestly, and there's not a lot of drones back at home for Effort, so Effort is going to have to catch up in the worker count, but at the same time, there's still no natural for sSak, so it's not like the economics position is especially dire for Zerg. So it looks like we're going to be switching back into bio for sSak. So a little bit interesting. Whenever you have a 2-port Wraith, you really have the decision. You can either go into mech or bio. Both of them honestly work. I honestly think the switch into mech is better, but most of the games that I've seen go into bio. So they're going to go into bio, and I guess in some ways it counters the follow-up Mutalists, maybe. I don't know. It's super interesting, but the Mutalists are going to be coming out right now. I'd like to see a couple of, just at least 2 Scourge to go in that army just to automatically kill off 1 to 2 Wraiths when they come in. And then you can whittle that away a lot easier. And third base going down for Effort. He's pretty confident about this, and he's going to be pushing in right now. Not very good micro from sSak. He's actually just going to lose a couple of these for free, but Effort moving a little bit too far away from his Overlords. He really needs to stay close to those Overlords so he's not making the mistake of getting Mutalists picked off for free without doing any return damage. But I think it was that was pretty well played by Effort. He's got the air advantage now. He's got the map control. And a couple of units being pumped out right now while Effort is trying to hunt down these Wraiths, and I think he's found them. He might actually be able to kill off all of them if he plays this correctly. There's the immediate cloak. They're going to try to get away, but tons of damage going down on that. At least one of them going down. The rest of them very, very, very low. So this is very smart by Effort to just hunt this down because he knows this is all the map control the turn has. So if you just continually patrol down here with all of your units, you're going to be in pretty good shape. Oh, is he going to get the hit? Oh, there's like 2 1-hit Wraiths in there. A little bit questionable micro. He had all of his Wraiths and was not able to kill that one Mutalist, so a little bit weird from sSak. And I think at this point, Effort's taken a pretty good control of this game. There's only 1 base for sSak. Meanwhile, Effort's got up all 3 of his bases. He's got the Mutalist. The only thing that could really kill him right now is a surprise attack with the Bio Ball, but I honestly don't think that's going to be too much of a big deal. sSak turning around the race. He's really trying to buy as much time as possible for this big Bio attack, but it's going to be difficult because even if he does buy enough time with these to come out, it's It's still a pretty small army. When you're only building stuff off of one base, you just can't get enough army.
지금 김종호도 너무 여기에 시간 걸렸어요. 근데 일단 무탈 한 부대 넘죠.
지금 의도를 몰라요.
근데 마린이 왜 따로 가죠?
So here go more of the wraiths going down. And that's going to be pretty much all of them except for one. And there are marines moving out across the map right now. This is a pretty big attack coming into the natural right now. Only one stuck in here to defend it for right now. A couple of hydros on the high ground, and good Muta Micro can definitely pick this off and destroy it, but you really do need the speedlings coming in pretty soon. If you're just defending on pure Mutal Hydra, it's a little bit of an awkward composition to deal with bio, and it melts up pretty quickly. And Effort not really even microing at all. He's so confident that he's actually just going to A-move on this. Wow, okay. Yeah, Mutalisk good units, yo. That should be the GG coming out pretty soon. I'd be really surprised if sSak stays in this game for much longer. You know when you have Mutalisk just A-moving into bio that you've pretty much lost. That's pretty brutal, and that was basically an all-in attack. There's no expansion coming up for the Terran player. I think he may stay in for a little bit longer until Effort busts the front, but Effort just taking his time. Looks like he's sending back a couple units right now just to clean up this one wraith so he doesn't have to deal with it. That's so annoying, the wraith cloaks. This is smart, but there goes the bunker at the front. There's basically nothing left except for these few wraiths, but they're going to be pushed back for now. Looks like Effort actually isn't able to quite break it yet just because of the high DPS of those wraiths, but it's looking pretty bleak. I keep saying that, and I'm sorry, man. I want to build the hype, guys. Like, you know what? sSak can still come back and do it. There's still a way he can do it. If he just kills all the Mutalisks with all of his wraiths with God tier micro, then he'll be in good shape. Like, it'll be fine. Then he'll just win the game and expand 4 times. Like, it'll be fine. But just more and more bio just being cleaned up by all these units. And yeah, I am. You know what? That is actually a very good point that was just made in chat. Like sSak could have just made like a Valkyrie earlier, and he'd probably be in really good shape if he just switched from wraiths and built like 3 Valkyries with this bio army earlier. He probably could have just outright won the game. So it's a bit surprising that he's stuck on this wraiths for so long, but it seems like he's dedicated to this. Wraiths are the name of the game. And more micro wars going on. This is a bit of a silly game at this point. And Effort doesn't even care about the wraiths over there. He's just going to trade out Mutalisk for bio. And this is still a good trade for Effort because he has 3 base economy plus a 4th base going up right now. He can continue to trade Mutas even cost inefficiently versus this. And eventually sSak will run out of economy. Right now I think sSak is really, really low in his main, so those minerals should mine out soon, and there's going to be nothing left. More shenaniganry going on with these wraiths, and they're not paying attention. There's the GG, sSak finally giving up. And Effort just playing really smart. Seems like the name of the game for Effort has been Mutalisk play, surprise Mutalisk play, and just really good Muta control throughout this series. So really nicely played by Effort. Looks like we're going to be going to a game 5. Maybe we can go all the way up to a game 7 today. I'd really love to see that. But the series is tied up now, 2-2, between Team Mong and Team sSak. So good stuff to see. And during this break, I'm going to be drinking some more coffee. It's going to be awesome. I agree, Edward. That was a complete nonsense game. It reminds me a lot of if you guys watch Fat vs AJ at all. The other week there was Firebat Hero versus I think it was True Touch, if I remember correctly. But Firebat here did the same build. He just went straight into
8강 탈락이죠.
the two-port race and just kept making race for the entire game, even though his opponent scouted the entire thing and was 100% prepared for it. And it was very odd to see him just rely so heavily on his micro to try to win. And maybe it's just sort of maybe it's just sort of like an arrogance thing. Like I think I can micro my race well enough to just kill you outright. But again, you're playing into the game that Effort likes to play, which is, you know, let's just micro really heavy and let's see who has the better APM. And Effort's always going to win that fight. Like unless you're one of the absolute best players in the world, Effort is almost always going to win that. I think the only faster players than Effort might be like Jadong and Flash, basically. Everyone else can't really keep up with that heavy micro style.
그 러시거리도 굉장히 모르고 앞마당에 에그가 있기 때문에 완전히 틀어막는 심시티가 가능해요. 아까 이경민 선수가 보여줬던 포지 게이트 심시티를 완전히 틀어막고.
So now we're looking at Monte Cristo, which I always describe as kind of a backwards match point. It's kind of like a backwards match point, but the middle is circular, and the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock are islands. So it's a little bit different, but it encourages a lot of drop play. Drop play is very strong on this map because you have that gigantic ridge in the main. It's also really easy to get into the natural as well because it's inverted like that. Also, when you go drop play, it makes it very easy to get that island expansion as well. So whenever you see, we have a Zerg. So if we saw like a PVZ, I don't know who else is left, but if we saw a PVZ, you can definitely go for Corsair Reaver and drop a probe on that ground and take an early third on the island. So it's a pretty cool map. All right, heading into game 4. It looks like it is going to be that PVZ. It's going to be free versus Effort on Monte Cristo. Monte Cristo. Alright guys, bets. Are we going to see Corsair Reaver? Let me know in chat by pressing 1. And if you think we're going to see, let's see, what's another crazy build that Protoss can do? If we're going to see like a speed lot all in, press 2 in chat. So Corsair Reaver 1 and 2 for our Zealot speed lot all in. So moving into the game, we're probably going to see Forge Fast Expand versus a either a 12 hatch or an overpool. Overpool is very standard in this matchup at this point. I'm not sure how big this map is if you can get away with a 12 hatch. You can definitely get away with it on Crossing Field. It's because of how big the map is, but I think this map is a little bit too small for that. So we'll probably see what Effort decides to go for coming up in just a moment. Oh, he is going to be going for that 12 hatch, so Effort being a little bit ballsy. He's going to hide the drone. This is really smart, just hiding the drone, waiting for the probe to come in so that he can guarantee getting that hatch down. Very cool stuff coming out. Looks like he's actually going to go for an 11 hatch just to make sure that he gets it down on time. Very cool play coming out from Effort. He's going to walk into the main and be like, what the fuck? Oh, okay, right. And very smart play from Free. He scouts that there is going to be that hatch first, so he just goes into Nexus first. So that's a very nice small little optimization there with the scouting. And that's going to put them more or less even. Spawning pool coming out, so we're not going to see any kind of crazy triple hatch play or anything like that. Sorry, did I put my face back up? I don't think I did. I always forget to put my face back up. It's a problem.
수비하기가 어렵기
Problem.
때문에
It's okay. I don't really like my face, so it's not a big deal. Got the third base coming down for effort in the top right-hand corner.
좀 어렵거든요.
That definitely tells me that he wants to play more for a late game oriented style. We're not going to see any kind of crazy Hydralist bus or really strong Hydralist aggression or anything like that. It's going to be more focused towards the late game. There's definitely still a period of aggression that you can do with the Hydralist, but it's not going to be as focused on it, if you know what I mean.
이게 사실 보통 3시에 가져가야
And it makes it really easy to grab that fourth base on the low ground as well. So good plays from effort, being smart so far. An annoying probe coming in, but that drone says no, go away, go away. I don't like you.
아까 말씀드린 심시티 이렇게 완벽하게 할 수가 있어요. 이렇게 하면 길이 여기밖에 저글링이 못 지나가게 되고 그렇게 되면은 상대 입장에서 저글링 오린
Are we gonna see the +1 come out? Come on, guys, +1 before Stargate. Let's do it. +1, free, free.
나갈 때 되면 여기 에그를
+1. No, it's not gonna happen.
그럼 이쪽 길이 생기게 되고 게이트나 주로 건물들이 이쪽에다
So we're just waiting for all the tech to unfold.
많이 하거든요.
Layers coming down before Zergling speed, so pretty normal stuff coming from effort. Not gonna see like a speedling all in or anything weird like that.
콘서트 티켓
예.
약 7만 원 상당.
Meanwhile, I will tell you guys the story of yesterday when I was moving. So yesterday I had to move into my new apartment. I'm actually still at my old apartment right now. There's literally like everything is packed up except for my desk, and then I have like a pile of blankets in the other room that I'm sleeping on. And I'm just staying here for like a day or two to clean up the rest of the apartment and get ready to go over to the other one. But I moved all my furniture and stuff yesterday, so. Oh my god! Oh my god, he went for the... You guys, it's the speed lot all in. It's coming. It's coming. Who called it? Who called it? This guy called the speed lot all in. Oh my god, I'm so excited. It's gonna be fun. It's worth noting that this third positioning of efforts is good and bad against speed lot all in, because to some degree it puts a lot of pressure off of his third base or his natural, depending on where the units go, because whenever you have like a ground based army, it takes a long time for them to move back and forth, but at the same time the third base is really isolated, so it's really easy to pick off. So could go either way. It depends a lot on the scouting and responses of effort. But anyways, getting back to my story about moving yesterday. So I was moving my furniture and I didn't rent a truck. My dad has a trailer. Oh, when he gets in the main, so he's actually going to scout the entire thing. Really nice. And I decided to borrow the trailer from my dad. Has like a non-closed trailer. It's just like a box, you know, it's a trailer you can put stuff on. I don't really know what the technical term is. So wow, this Zod is actually doing a lot of damage. And that's like okay-ish, but the problem is like you don't have, like, it's not covered. So if it rains or anything like that's a big deal. You need to like, so you have to be really smart about like when you move, you have to pay attention to the weather and everything. So for several days I was paying attention to the weather and being really smart. I love the Stargate, this double Stargate coming out to counter whatever effort was planning. So cool massive tech switches from free early on. And so I checked the weather several times. Even before I left, I checked the weather and I was like, I think that I should probably make sure that there's no rain. I have like my mattresses. I had like 5 boxes full of books and like a box full of like my Xbox and N64 and everything. Like all of like really important electronics and stuff, right? So I was like driving out of town, and my new apartment's about an hour and a half away. So I was driving out of town, and as soon as I got like past civilization, where I was like out in the middle of nowhere, it just started pouring rain, like absolutely pouring. I ended up having to pull over onto a side road and sit underneath a tree in a trailer park. But big attack coming in right now. Effort's prepared for this though. He saw all of this. He scouted all of it. He still had to pull a couple drones, and he's going to lose 2 drones, which is a little unfortunate, but easily held because of the proper response
드론을 잡아주고 일을 못하게
So
하고
I had to pull over underneath a tree in a trailer park for like half an hour waiting for the rain to stop. And in the meantime, all my stuff did get wet. Luckily, all the boxes managed to stay dry, all the stuff inside of them, somehow magically. But my mattress got soaked, so I'm hoping that my mattress will dry out by the time I move in completely. If not, I gotta buy a new mattress. Sorry for the random story. I didn't think there'd be this much action. Alright, another attack coming in. The SimCity not so great at this third base, and these ults are going to be able to get right on top of the sunken. The blocks with the drones are really, really good, but it's going to be a while to actually clean up all of these zealots with just a few mutalisks, and lots of damage being done by this. Really surprising that Effort is taking as much damage as he is, considering he scouted everything coming his way. He knew that the +1 was being upgraded. He knew that the legs were coming, but he was being maybe a little bit overzealous. Really cool right here to just zone out these Corsairs while killing off the pylon, but didn't really go after the zealot or the Corsair there, so that went horribly for Effort. And at this point, I would say Free is in a really good position. He's done a lot of damage with these early attacks. He's got a lot of Corsairs up now, so he has map control. He's going to be getting that. He's going to be getting a couple of DTs and maybe High Templars out as well. So, oh, loses a Corsair for free. That's a bit surprising. But this Muta Scourge shot. Wow, he kills another Corsair. That's so surprising. This shouldn't be happening. But I think this Muta Scourge play is not really working out for Effort. He's gonna have to find another strategy to work from if he wants to survive later on in this game. He lost a lot of drones early on. A lot of economic damage. And the third base is going to be going down now for Free. Once he gets down that third base, he's going to be able to pump out the gateways and get tons and tons and tons of units. And all of those mutalisks going down. Womp womp womp. Couple Lings getting in here. This is nice. They might be able to kill off like 1.5 photon cannons, but big attack coming in here with like random zealots and Archon. And again, it's so weird. It's like Effort just never has any units in position to deal with things. Got to be careful about not getting that splash damage on his drones and moving the drones out of position. But so much damage done right now. It looks like this base is broken, and the drones actually have to evacuate. It looks like they might be coming back, but lots of damage done right here. And now the Scourge count is so high that they don't even care about these spore colonies. They're just going to walk straight on top of all of these overlords and kill them off for free. And that's pretty brutal right now. This is really not a situation that you want to be in as Effort. Effort just falling under the pressure of Free. Free's just everywhere on the map, doing tons of damage, and Effort's usually immaculate damage control it's just not there this game. He doesn't have the Hydra count that he needs, and these individual zealots are doing a lot of damage to him. Sitting on the ramp, getting that high ground percent miss damage, and it's pretty brutal. He's going to be able to kill off that spore colony, and then there's absolutely nothing stopping him from sniping all the overlords, anything that tries to get out over to that base. And that third base is going down. There's the GG. Effort just falling apart under the pressure of Free and the mass tech switches. I'm so happy that he went for that zealot speed lot attack. I called it, guys. I called that so much. Yeah, Effort just going for a pretty risky build with the Mutalisk Scourge there to follow up, and he just didn't have anything in position. Took way too much economy damage and didn't get the connections he needed on top of those Corsairs, and so that was unfortunately the end for him. So it looks like that is going to be a big win for Team sSak. We're going to be going to a Game 6. Team Mong really has to bring it back if they want to get back in the series. They still have Effort they have Snow and Sky High to send out. So we could see a PvP or a PvT coming up soon. I think it would be smarter to send out.
이게 장윤철 선수가 요새
Actually, I don't know about
현역
Snow's
시절부터
PvP.
안정감이 있고
I know that Free has actually been pretty decent again in PvZ recently. I don't know how his PvP is. I think that Snow could probably beat Free in a PvP, but I don't know what his record is in that. If chat knows, you can definitely let me know. It's a little bit difficult sometimes to pull up stats in midcasts,
후전을 굉장히 잘하는 장윤철.
but hopefully we can get this. Just read through the chat. Let's see what's been going on recently. It seems like everybody is pissed off about 1.19 because apparently 1.19 is somehow worse than 1.18. Oh god.
다 똑같고요. 약간 세 번째 가스 멀티 3시, 9시, 6시, 12시가 약간 지형이 변화가 있어요. 그리고 센터 쪽에
I was trying to come up with like a Windows joke there, like, you know, it's like when everyone thought that Windows Vista was bad, but then Windows 7 was introduced, and I'm like, no, that's alright. Windows Vista is the worst. You can't get worse than Windows Vista except for maybe Millennium Edition, but that doesn't even count. It's actually so bad it doesn't even count as a Windows.
중요한 게 뭐냐면 셀라멘더에서 저는 윤용태가 조금 더 유리하다고 느껴지는 게 뭐냐면 윤용태 선수가 또 힘싸움형 맵에서는 굉장히 또 강한 모습을 보여주지 않습니까?
네, 또 별명이 뇌제이지 않습니까?
내주지 않습니까?
싸움하면 윤용태예요.
그런데 셀러맨더는 싸우는 지형이나 자원적인
Yeah,
면에서
so
굉장히 나만적 끌어다보지 않습니까?
Pretty happy about the way that this series has gone so far.
일단 윤용태 현재
It's been really nice to see the players coming back. We've had a couple of silly games. Like I think that game was kind of silly, just effort going for like weird strategy, and the game before that sSak going for weird stuff. But overall, the level of play has been pretty nice, and it looks like we're already going to be jumping into Game 6. Boom, nailed it. Got the face up there. Got it, nailed it. Right during the transition. And like we suspected, Snow is going to be coming out against Free. According to Tangard in the chat, Snow has a 19 wins, 15 losses in PvP in spawn matches this month so far. So pretty good stuff for Snow. Looks like he's pretty good at this matchup. It's going to be fun to actually see how this works out. I'm going to have to pull up names because I don't know who is who. Snow and Free. There we go. So Free is Yoon Young Tae. So he's going to be in the red. Red is going to be Free. And yellow up in the top left is going to be our hero from Team sSak. It is going to be Snow. No, I lied. It's from Team Mong. I don't know who's landing team. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. So, this is a very important decider match. If Team Mong can come back and win this, if Snow can actually snipe Free out of the tournament, then they can definitely come back and win the 7th set. But if they lose this match, Team sSak wins this one and is going to be going on to the finals. And I'm gonna be honest, early PvP, not that much to talk about. You know, it's like wow, did you see that? Did you see that? I don't know if you guys saw that, but Free made a gateway after his pylon, and now he's gonna be making a gas, and that's gonna allow him to mine gas, which is gonna allow him to make units. So it's going to be pretty strong. Pretty strong. No, there's not much to talk about. The main difference is which player goes for early Dragoon range. If either player goes for double gate, and if any player goes for a really fast expansion. Those are the big three things that we're going to be looking forward to. Almost everyone goes for that early Dragoon range, but if you don't go for the early Dragoon range, it definitely signifies that there could be some sort of tech play coming out, such as fast DTs or some sort of proxy play. But this is on Salamander, by the way. Salamander does have these inverted ramps, which are a little bit annoying, but since they are on the high ground, it's not as bad. And they sort of create a natural arc, natural concave coming out, so it's not too bad trying to break down this ramp if you have a shuttle to shuttle stuff down on a low ground, but it can be difficult if you get contained on this map. You're going to be seeing both cores spinning, getting that early Dragoon range, so nothing so far. Oh! And the probe just walks right past the Zealot. Let's see if Snow can do any better. Oh, he blocks it, and he's got the Dragoon out, so easy peasy. Easy peasy. And so this is the question now we ask ourselves, is anybody going to be going for a fast Nexus, or are they going to be going into tech? And so far nobody's really gone into a super fast Nexus. They may go up to 3 Dragoons and then Nexus, or otherwise. This is really nice getting this probe in here without another Dragoon. So Free is going to have basically all the information he needs for a little while, and it's going to prevent Snow from putting down the tech that he would like to early on. But luckily another Dragoon does pop out. He's going to be able to kill that off pretty early. And very smart play. Now that Free has all the information he needs, he's just going to go for that expansion. Meanwhile, Snow is going to be going for the robotics bay early on. A bit more of a defensive play, but it's going to allow him a certain timing later down on the road where he gets the shuttle and 2 Reavers, and he can definitely break the natural of Free before he gets Reavers, but it really just depends on that, how we get to that. I take it back. I thought those were blockers before, but those are not blockers, where those Dragoons just walked. Yo chat, pay attention to the game, not 1.19. I love you guys. I love you. So both players just going for pretty standard builds. The only difference is that Free is going for the expansion into Robo versus opponent. It's going to be going Robo into expansion. Snow's now getting that expansion up, and both players are just playing super defensively. And down to my last group of coffee. My last like I don't know how to say this. It's not like last cup of coffee, but like I have a French press, right? So I'm almost out of coffee, and I really have like one more French press full of coffee that I can make. It's gonna be a little bit sad, but I guess it'll be alright. That'll get me through the next cast on Thursday, I think. So I'll be okay with that. Be alright. Probe scout coming in, sees nothing. I love this probe. Just casually walks into Snow's main. Snow has not been doing a great job of stopping these probes from getting into his main, but I mean, it's so difficult in this matchup because you have such limited information and you have to kind of wander around with your units in certain areas. It's difficult to know exactly where the probe is going to be at all times. Hey Dr. Namus, it is currently 7:49 here, so I drink lots of coffee in order to do these casts because they're pretty early over here on the east coast of the US. Snow is going to try to defend right now. He still doesn't have the Reaver out. Actually, take that back. The Reaver just got out. And with a few good shots, the Reaver can definitely push this back. 3-gate pressure is a little bit unorthodox. Usually you almost always go into that the robotics facility almost immediately, but 3-gate pressure is pretty strong. And with 2 Reavers, Snow should be able to hold this. He still has quite a few gateway units versus his opponent, but looks like Free might try to break in here early on. He's trying to pull off some aggro from Snow, but Snow's not having it. Snow's going to chill out. He's got he actually went for the shuttle before the second Reaver, which is probably a pretty smart idea. just to make sure that he can micro that Reaver and make sure it doesn't get sniped. There was definitely a window of opportunity there where Free could have run in and sniped the first Reaver, but the Reaver was protected enough that there was no chance for him to actually do that without losing a ton of Dragoons in the process. See, you think I woke up at 6 o'clock to cast StarCraft, but the secret is I never want to sleep. So, oh gosh. That's how I StarCraft. How to use StarCraft. Hashtag. So just both players building up. They're going to be going into Reaver gateway units. I'm a bit surprised that Free is going into the Reaver tech after going for this 3-gate pressure. Oh, that's a little unfortunate losing that Dragoon. Usually what happens is when you go for a pressure build like this, then you still get the robo facility for the observers, but you just skip over Reavers entirely after that and just go straight into Templar tech. So it's a bit weird to go into the Reavers this late, but Free apparently thinks that there's some value to be gained by getting those Reavers out early on, but he's going to be down by like 4 Reavers by the time he gets his first Reaver out, so it's going to be difficult for him to actually get anything done. And did he actually corner his own Dragoons over here? These Dragoons have nowhere to go. They're actually just stuck in this base, and all of them are going to die. Ooh, bad micro there. He's going to lose that shuttle and the Reaver for free, but the trade-off is losing every single one of these Dragoons. That was some really bad missed micro from both players, honestly. But to corner all of your Dragoons up here, what was he thinking? What in the world was Free thinking? And now with all those Dragoons dead, there's definitely attack timing coming in for Snow right now. If he's got that second shuttle with the Reaver up right now, he can actually just gun it straight for the natural and straight up kill Free. But it looks like he's just going to back off for now, focus on his macro and getting his upgrades up. Oh my god, I can't believe he cornered. TT1 saying in the chat he doesn't know map. Kappa, no Kappa. That's fair. I mean, this is a new map, so I don't expect the players to know it perfectly, but to corner your Dragoons like that is just, oh man, that's rough. That's rough. Oh gosh, Templar Archive's coming up for Snow right now. Looks like he's going to be switching into that awesome sweet tech. Just playing super defensively, knowing that the only way for his opponent to get back into the game is a really big Reaver drop. So I'd like this drop defense in Snow's main. Meanwhile, he's poking in with the front with his Dragoons, and this is super ballsy, but it makes a lot of sense knowing that his opponent's stuff is across the map. He's going to be able to pick off this Reaver, and that's a pretty huge win. I don't think he's going to be able to get into the main, but he's going to be able to snipe a couple more units here and maybe even get some economic damage into these probes. And at this point, Free's pretty much dead. He's going to have to, he's going to need some god tier Reaver drops in order to actually get back into this game. But he's lost so many probes now, lost so many of his army. And even though Snow is going to be trading off his own Dragoons here, it was well worth the trade. It allowed him to get his own tech up pretty early. He's going to be able to re-macro his army and have more Reavers than his opponent. So this is all very, very good coming out from Snow right now. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I just drank absolutely nothing out of that glass. Oh god. Alright, Snow moving across the map now. He's even got a DT out on the map. That's actually pretty cool. That's actually been there for a while, I think. I just didn't notice it. Looks like he's actually going to drop that DT in the main, try to get some economic damage. No cannons in the main or the natural, and I believe all the observers are with this army, so there's definitely a possibility of this doing some major damage if it's not paid attention. But so much of the army is being pulled back right now. This is actually super dangerous to pull back that much army. He's actually... Whoa, Free's pulling back his entire army. His natural is open. If Snow were in position right now, he could actually just bust open the natural and contain his opponent Wow, I'm surprised he didn't gun for that, because that would have been a straight up win.
벌써 멀티를 가져갔을 거라 생각 못 하고 있는 것 같아요.
그렇기 때문에 윤
Wow, okay.
빠른
All right.
오히려 좋은
That was like that was a straight up win, but maybe he didn't expect Free to be that dumb. I'm not sure. Whew.
수시 멀티를 방금 다크로 본진 넣으면서 견제를 갔으면은 훨씬 더 유리한 상황을 만들 수 있었는데 지금
And more units pouring across the map. I don't see that many Templar out right now, which is a bit unfortunate. You really need those Templar with the storms to deal with large armies like this. Once the Zealot numbers get really huge, you need the Archons and the Storms to deal with them. It's the only reliable way to kill them off, so that you have enough of a backline to actually push through. And I think Snow with a much larger army, as far as I can tell, it's 149 to 140. Actually, they're about even in supply, which is a bit surprising. But you see that Free definitely invested a lot more into this third expansion, and Snow getting a really nice arc on this army. He's actually going to be able to hit Free at a direction that he wasn't expecting. Very nice redirection here, but did Snow, did he trap his army in between the natural reinforcements and everything? But there are some Zealots coming in the back. They are going to be able to pick off at least one of those Reavers. And the Reavers for Snow are staying alive. This is pushing through all of the Dragoons going down to that splash damage. And oh my gosh, the damage is huge. He's going to be able to push into the natural right now. There's the GG. Free taken down by that brilliant maneuvering by Snow. There's a reason why Snow is good at this matchup. That was actually brilliant to go for the full flank there. And Free just not doing a very good job of his observer coverage of his view on the minimap, and you can see he's so happy about that win. That was pretty sick. And just I think Free was honestly so surprised. You saw there were actually just 2 Zealots that walked up and killed a Reaver, which shouldn't happen ever. But I think that was just because Free was so surprised. What's going on? Why is the army there? What? So pretty humorous, pretty funny, but gotta hand it to Stowe for just playing a really smart game, watching his positioning, doing smart things at the right time, etc., etc. And although Free did screw up several times, like getting his entire army nailed up in the 12 o'clock position, he was staying actually surprisingly even with Snow, all things considered. And I'm not really sure where that lead was coming from, other than, I guess, just having faster tech than his opponent and playing really intelligently in terms of the teching game. But his positioning wasn't very good throughout the game, and he paid for it. And that's really pretty much all you can say about that game. We are going to be finally going into the 7th set. I'm so happy that we get 2 7th sets, at least 2 7th sets in this tournament. I hope we get to see more. I hope the final is goes all the way to 7 games. But last person coming out for Team sSak is... Wait, did I get that wrong? Wait, did Team Mong just win? Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Team Mong just won. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Everyone in Team sSak got eliminated. Never mind. Ignore me. Ignore me. Everything I said was wrong. Everything I said was wrong. I get so confused. There's so many players, and like they're all on different teams, and the team names are the players themselves. It gets confusing, okay, guys? I'm sorry. Oh gosh, it's been a long day. I can't wait for the next game, but man, or the next series, which is, by the way, is gonna be tomorrow. Luckily, tomorrow's gonna be at a bit of a later time. It's gonna be at 21 KST, which here is gonna be 8 AM, so a little bit more time for me to sleep. Maybe even get a nap if I stay up late. And that's going to be Team Sulky versus Team Last. Just for a refresher, Team Last struggled pretty hard, aside from many who played like God tier amazing. But other than that, I think Team Best was Wait, sorry, Team Sulky. Team Sulky was like god tier because Light just went on like a killing spree and killed everybody. Piano and Sulky, both pretty solid players. Gwimchi, one of the weaker ones, but you can definitely find certain matchups for Gwimchi to snipe. Certain players that he can snipe. So it's going to be a good matchup either way. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate all of the amazing comments in the chat and all of the nice things that you guys have said about me. Because I really don't know what I'm doing. This is broadcasting and casting is all very new to me, and I'm still learning. So make sure my face to say goodbye to you guys. Although I also want to be looking for someone to host. Who's worth hosting right now? Firebat Heroes casting. But anyways, I appreciate everyone watching. It was a pretty epic set of games. I'm sorry guys that I'm like really bad at doing math today and couldn't figure out who was ahead or who was behind in the series, but I hope you guys enjoyed the cast. If you need to know anything more about me, if you want to follow me or whatever, let me know, or just look down below, and that's where I have all my information. You can find my Twitter, my Discord, all that, etc. So thank you guys for watching, and this will be uploaded to YouTube fairly shortly. I'll also be posting it on teamliquid.net for everyone to watch. That's going to be all for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later.
인지해 주시면 좋겠고요. 제가 공지는 따로 남겨두도록 하겠습니다. 아무튼 오늘 멀리서까지 해설 와주셨는데 제가 보는 내내 해설 너무 좋다, 옵저버 너무 잘한다, 이런 솔령 너무 좋다, 결승전에 이영환 데리고 가라 막 이러거든요. 네. 본인 어떻게 생각하십니까?
저는 일단 이런 컨텐츠에 초대를 해주신 게 너무 감사하고, 저는 이런 다 같이 이렇게 스타를 즐기는 분위기 아닙니까? 그렇죠. 이런 분위기와 자리는 저는 굉장히 너무 좋아하기 때문에 언제든지 불러주시면 항상 긍정적으로 달려올 거고, 또 너무 재밌게 게임을 본 것 같아요. 선수들마다 색깔이 뛰어나고 맵을 활용하는 전략이나 전술 같은 것들도 굉장히 좋았기 때문에 굉장히 재밌게 게임을 보고 또 많은 분들이 좋아해 주셔가지고 저는 제가 너무 감사해서 몸둘 바를 모르겠습니다.
정말 와주셔서 감사드리고, 마지막으로 추천 즐겨찾기 팬가입 좀 부탁드리고요. 원래 오늘 끝나고 진행하기로 했던 콘서트 티켓 이벤트는 제가 목이 너무 아파가지고 내일 끝나고 진행하는 걸로 하고요. 내일 또 이영환 선수가 총족체간전 참여하니까 많이 사랑 부탁드리고, 또 이영환 선수 방에 가서 팬가입이랑 즐겨찾기 좀 많이 부탁드리도록 하겠습니다. 오늘도 역시 자막 챙겨준 티보 누나 너무 감사드리고요. 근데 저희는 언제나 그랬듯이 내일이죠. 내일 또 찾아뵙도록 하겠습니다. 언제나 그랬듯이가 아니군요. 내일은 9시로 변경된 점 다시 한번 말씀드리고요. 내일 김민철 팀 대 김성현 팀 경기로 오도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다. 저희 물러가겠습니다.